Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I have to say, Spider-Man Brand New Day is amazing. It's doing so very well compared to anything else that anything coming out of Marvel Studios has done in a long, long time. Outside of Wolverine, Deadpool, mashup movie, we really haven't had anything that performed at this level because there just wasn't anything to get excited about. In fact, since Endgame, most everything Marvel's put out has been embarrassing. The exception has always been Sony, although they've had their own stumbles. This last film, though, Spider-Man Brand New Day, not a stumble. A record-setting monster that absolutely embarrasses the MCU. So, let's talk about it. Here we go. Now, double check you're still subscribed to the channel. This is the one time I'll say it. If not, click the button, hit the thumbs up icon, and hit the bell icon, turn on notifications. Let's jump into the story. We don't have a lot of time. I don't want to take your time. I just want to point out that Spider-Man crushes the box office records. We're only one day past the preview day of Thursday, which included some Wednesday numbers, and we're already over $70 million through those Thursday numbers. They've added auditoriums at this point, and it's not anything anybody could have predicted. In fact, this is now a shot of being the biggest ever with $400 million in domestic opening. Now, is that a possibility? Yes. Is it a probability? Well, I'm going to say yeah. At this point, I wasn't as optimistic even this morning as I was that this was going to get there. But our friend at WDW Pro over at that Park Place is in the same camp as I am. I think we're sitting at a Thursday number that's going to look like $76 million just for North America. Other nations around the world, despite the turmoil in Spain, are still coming in with some really high box office numbers. And when you take a look at the story, you're at $70 million plus. The overnight preview gives you an idea that it has a path to 350 to 400 million. This is the biggest domestic opening weekend of all time, or potentially. And look, do I think it gets there? Of course I do, or we wouldn't be making this video. And I'll just say this, there's a reason. It's something that people can look forward to. And sometimes when you give a thirsty man a glass of water, he's going to drink it. And then he's going to come back for more. And that's kind of what I think this film is going to do. So with Spider-Man Brand New Day, they're already expecting it to deliver one of the biggest theatrical debuts of the decade. But they didn't think it was going to be this big. There was an extraordinary preview night performance where, again, they added more screens and more screenings. They started showing the movie on this Friday, as you're watching this video, starting at 9 a.m. local time across the entire country. These are the days that the exhibitors can capitalize on. And this is a film that they can capitalize on, which they've been waiting for a long, long time. Now, the question is whether Spider-Man is about to challenge or even surpass the biggest domestic opening weekend in motion picture history. Again, my thoughts are it's quite possible. Is it probable? Well, maybe not, but it's starting to become more probable, considering you have people like me that are considering going to see it again. And I don't see films more than once unless they're really good, like Project Hail Mary. Otherwise, I don't see them a lot. I mean, maybe a Tom Cruise film, but he hasn't done a good one since Maverick. Let's take a look. Early reports indicate that the Brand New Day generated more than $70 million before traditional Friday business. So here we are on Friday. And at this rate, Spider-Man could actually achieve a $200 million Thursday, Friday domestic opening, which is unheard of. In fact, I think this is a possibility. I just said it. It's not probable, but it's possible. In addition to, well, the rest of the weekend finishing at an extraordinary height, approaching $400 million. The existing revenue record currently belongs to a Marvel Studios film for Disney called Avengers Endgame. Maybe you heard of it. And it earned over $60 million from previews all the way back in April 2019, and it opened to $357.1 million domestically. This is on pace, or could be on pace, to do the same thing. Now, Spider-Man didn't just barely edge out Endgame either. It's crushing it. I know that's a real strong way to put things, but I don't want to mislead you. It's doing something that I didn't think was possible anymore. It's exciting people. It's getting great word of mouth. And even with an A CinemaScore, which I think is low, it's a definite recommend from almost everybody. And in terms of its first couple of days, it has obliterated in a Thursday to Thursday comparison, preview to preview comparison of Endgame. That's insane. And that's not the only thing here. The film, obviously, pretty good. Pro gave it a 9.7 when we did our live stream on Thursday night. And I thought that was a little high, but I gave it an 8, which is one of the highest scores I've given this year. Outside of maybe Godzilla -1, which Pro does mention in his article, there's no reason to believe that Brand New Day is going to be a front-loaded monster that just slows down. I don't think it does either. In fact, the film could conquer box offices from now until past Labor Day. It's a global phenomenon, and it's not just a domestic flash. And this is where we start to get into some other things, like CinemaScore talking about the $75 million that they're reporting domestically that it earned for its previews. That global numbers look extraordinary, including in the UK, with $20 million there. And then finally, Mac, our friend over on X, with now its known account, gives us the actual CinemaScore. And finally, when you look at the Portal box office, this is a Portuguese site, they're talking about over $100 million in the international market on its Wednesday. On its Wednesday. When do you see that anymore? It doesn't happen all that often. If you're looking at a North American opening somewhere between 350 and 400 million, you're looking for an international number that's going to be the same. And if it approaches 400 million, $800 million is on the table. Now, will it get there? Probably not. But can it get 6? Well, I would say probably. Let's jump back in. The fact that it's coming this close, as Marvin Montanaro pointed out in That Park Place earlier today on video, it's impressive because it's doing it without IMAX screens. No IMAX, you don't expect it to do that well. You also don't expect it to be looking at a $350 million weekend. I did. I thought this was a possibility. $70 million preview, actually now 76. 5 times multiplier to reach 350 million. It's quite possible. It's doable. It could reach 400 million, as they say here. The film would just need to multiply the previews by approximately 5.71, which is doable because there's nothing else to compete with it in the theaters. The animated crowd's already gone to see the animated films. This is PG-13 and relatively inoffensive outside of some language because of The Punisher and a couple of very questionable scenes that I don't think any kid is going to notice. At the same time, what else do you have? You have an R-rated The Odyssey, which is not exactly in line with the traditional translation, and people probably have grown weary of not only paying a premium price of roughly 3 or 4 times what a ticket to a regular theater costs. This is something new that costs you less, and you can take your whole family. So you look at all that in comparison to the $60 million previews of Endgame, and you're not that far away from the same kind of multiplier that Endgame got with 5.95. And if you get that, whoo, it's even bigger. It's even bigger. Spider-Man No Way Home turned in $50 million in previews and turned into $260.1 million, 4.2 times the multiplier from its Thursday number. So just doing simple math, which you know I love to do, it gives us something to compare to in a positive way. Not to mention the fact that word of mouth across, well, my sphere has been largely positive. We have a few people here and there that don't like the convoluted nature of the story, and yet I take exception to that framing because I don't think it was convoluted at all. I think it was fairly straightforward, and maybe there were some ancillary characters that could have had their roles reduced or eliminated, and it would have made the film a little bit shorter. But as far as, you know, the compression of 2 different films together, I don't think I've ever seen it done better. And I've said as much in the review that I gave you. If you want to check that out, it's right up there. It also gives you my score, which I've already given you here, which is an 8 out of 10. but it has some nuance to it and maybe some minor, mild spoilers. But unfortunately, at this point, a lot of them have already hit the news. Now, Avengers Infinity War did pretty well. $39 million in previews, but it came up to $257.7 million in its opening weekend. So my thoughts here, and maybe yours are as well, that this has a real chance to get to that $350 million, if not $400 million mark. And if it does, and we have true parity between international and domestic box office, well, we have a monster. And boy, has it been a long time since we've had that. And with that, I tell you, go ahead, go read this article over on That Park Place and read all the other ones about Spider-Man, because for a change, we are able to tell the truth in a glowing way and not feel so depressed when we're done doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoy reading it and watching it here on my YouTube channel, Culture Casino, and over on That Park Place and WDW Pro. On that note, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Are you gonna see the film? Have you seen the film? Does this excite you at all? Do you think that it's being overhyped by people like me? Or do you think that maybe, just maybe, after a cold glass of water, it would be nice to have another one, especially in the summer heat? Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. Hopefully seeing a good movie, like Spider-Man Brand New Day.